Hey everybody, welcome to another midweek moment. So growing up, I collected cards, baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards, and earlier this week I went into one of my closets and I pulled out my boxes of cards and I started looking through them. I collected Jason Kidd, I've got some Michael Jordan, Anthony Penny Hardaway cards, but my favorite card is a Pete Maravich card. He was called Pistol Pete, and I remember growing up as a young basketball player wanting to emulate Pistol Pete. I mean, Pistol Pete was arguably the greatest basketball player in college history and one of the greatest in the NBA. And you know, you think about cards, different players have different values placed upon them. You can look at the back of the card and you can see the statistics. So Pistol Pete Maravich in his rookie season averaged 23.2 points a game, which is pretty incredible. But then you can look at some of the other cards that I have. So the cards that are valuable, I put them in plastic sleeves and I keep them in a separate box. But then I've got a box of cards. Honestly, I'm not even sure why I keep these. Like guys like Will Perdue or Uwe Blab. I mean, you look at the back of Will Perdue's card and it says that his career totals in the NBA are 3.4 points per game. Mediocre at best. But this is what we do. We collect cards and we place value upon people based on their statistics. Monday was All Saints Day. And I think we tend to do the same thing when it comes to the church. I was listening to a podcast recently where the woman being interviewed had grown up Catholic, and she said that she collected the cards of saints. So literally, like I collected baseball cards, basketball cards, she had cards with pictures of saints, and on the back it had their statistics and their stories of success. And certainly there's something to emulate in that. And as Lutherans, we hold up those who have lived by faith in the past as saints, saints to be honored, saints to be emulated. This is what it says in the Augsburg Confession. It says that our people teach that the saints are to be remembered so that we strengthen our faith when we see how they experience grace and how they were helped by faith. Moreover, it is taught that each person, according to his or her calling, should take the saints' good works as an example. So yes, we seek to emulate the saints. But here's what I want you to know. We are the saints. You and I, as baptized believers, are saints. So when Paul writes his letters, he says, to all of the saints, to all of God's holy people, to the people who have been made holy by the blood of Jesus, who have been set apart by him to live a life of faith, of obedience to Jesus. That's all Christians. It's not just some Christians who happen to be labeled as all-stars, and so they're the saints, they're the ones that we seek to emulate, but even the everyday saints, even the Will Perdues, we should seek to emulate them, knowing that we all fall short. Even the greatest of basketball players, they still are filled with failures. Their shooting percentage is maybe 50% at best, which means they miss a lot. And you and I, the same thing happens in our lives. When we're attempting to live by faith, we fail. We make mistakes. And yet, a saint is somebody who is forgiven, who is loved by Jesus. And so this week, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to think of who are some of those people in your life who are saints, who are people who have lived by faith. And Maybe they're the all-stars, but maybe they're just the everyday people who, amidst their mistakes and their failures, are living trusting in Jesus and in his love. And then I want you to hold on to these words that Paul says in Ephesians chapter 3. He says, I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all of the saints to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. See, that's truly what it means to be a saint, is to understand how deeply you are loved, you are chosen, you are called to follow Jesus. So, fellow saints, may we continue to live by faith. And I'll talk to you again next time.